These first two clips were filmed in August. That's about when we bought this car. It sat at my house for maybe a week, loaded it up on the trailer, brought it to the other house where I really haven't touched it until I opened the garage right here.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. As you can see, we're not in my garage, we're actually at the other house, and we're finally going to put some work into this Crash Z here. Now, if you haven't seen this thing, or if you're new to the channel, I'll put the video from when we first bought this thing up here, or over there, whatever corner it's in, so you can kind of see the backstory on this car. Now, since we bought it, literally just parked it here, and all I've done was steal a couple parts off of it. This is actually where I got my cool Kinetics intake manifold that's on my Z. As you can see, it's got no wheels on it. We've been using some of the spares, and I actually robbed the diff out of this thing for my car when I blew out my diff, so it's missing quite a few parts. A lot of random things are taken apart, and it was crashed, and we haven't fixed it yet. So today I'm going to dive into it and just kind of get the ball rolling on getting this thing fixed, because the goal is to fix it, to get it running, and to actually have it as kind of a backup drift car, something basic that I can throw the keys to my friends. They can learn how to drift in. Maybe one day it'll be a rental and you can take it for a spin. But before any of that, we have to jump into this thing and really see what's going on. Like I said, since the day we bought it, it literally just got pushed into this garage and left. So the interior is full of a bunch of random junk that the previous owner gave us. There's stuff taken apart, the intake manifolds in pieces. There's actually two sitting there, my old one and a different random one we have. And as you can see, it's just missing a lot of stuff. So this is going to be episode 1 of getting this thing turned into a functioning drift car, something like that. At least something that can run, drive, and hopefully turn some laps one of these days. Now, when it comes to any project like this, the first step I like to take is just to kind of take inventory on what we have. That way I can create a checklist of what we need. So like I said, this thing's been sitting here since the day we bought it. So I'm going to open it up, take out everything that's on the inside, start going through stuff, see what's trash, see what's worth keeping, see what I can sell, and then from there I can make a list of things that I need, and we'll just take it from there. This is what I'm talking about. I really didn't even know what was back here. Let's get all that out. So as you can see, there was a lot of random junk in this car, a lot of stuff that I didn't even know was in there, and a lot of stuff that's just straight trash. So now it's just time to sort through all this, throw away what I don't need, take inventory of what we have that's usable. Like, I didn't realize we had 2 headlights. I forgot that I had bought new hood hinges for this thing because the old ones were wrecked. Little things like that. Like I said, so now I can start sorting through and having stuff that I want to keep, stuff that's trash, and then I can create a list of things I need to buy, and we'll take it from there. The best thing I've found so far. Funny little MTV chair. I'll take it. Alright, so I put the camera down. It's been working for a while. And we got some stuff done. I have the intake manifold on this thing. Now this is the one off my Z, which means it has a plenum spacer. If you remember, I actually got the Kinetics intake manifold off this car. So now this thing's all buttoned up. It actually has a working, fully connected intake manifold, so we're good there. I went through and sorted everything. We have a lot of good usable parts and quite a few things I need to order. And I spent a little bit of time cleaning up the interior. I don't even know if I ever showed this in the original video, but this thing has some ridiculous racing seats. We'll use that term lightly. And everything was just filthy. So at least now it's clean. It's not a terrible place to be. Let me show you. Also, that sparkle wheel, we put that in. That was something we got super cheap on Marketplace. But look at those seats. Tenzo R. That's a throwback right there. These harnesses are, I think, just bolted to the floor. Super unsafe. So those will have to come out. Has Nismo mats, which is kind of funny. But overall, the interior is pretty clean. I cut the airbag out and tried to push that back down so it doesn't look as terrible. Okay, so now that this thing's not a complete basket case, we can actually dive into the real problem of this car, and that is because it's crashed. So is it going to be fixable? I don't remember if I actually went into depth on what the damage is here, but let me show you guys. So looking at the front of the car, don't mind the radiator, it's not held in by anything. This side is perfect. The windshield's cracked from the airbag over there. That windshield damage is actually from the previous owner's head, and the majority of the damage is all right here. Now it looks really bad in this frame, but if we look closer, the strut tower, which is actually back here, didn't move. It moved way past that, right? So it's all right here. Now the biggest issue with this is you can see it's pushed up and back, and it's actually hitting the brake master, and it's putting pressure on the brakes, so the car's difficult to drive. Now by just cracking a line and letting some pressure out of the brake system, we're able to drive it. I've moved this car around from the backyard to the garage, off the trailer, things like that. So it's not that it's unmovable, but it's definitely an issue. Now looking at this damage, it's 100% repairable. Like I said, the strut tower didn't move. It's everything outside of that. So all the structural stuff looks to be okay. The hardest part, I think, is going to be getting everything back to a place where stuff will line up, meaning we could put a fender on this car and it will actually look okay. That's going to be the real challenge. But what do you guys think? Is this thing a goner, or are we going to be able to yank this and get it close enough? You can see the frame rail there is pretty straight. There's a slight kink in it here, so it moved ever so slightly, I think, up, but overall that's hardly moved at all. It's really all just up here. You may also notice the brakes are taken apart. I pulled the Brembos off this because I have a buddy that wants to buy them, and I figured there's no point in having nice Brembos on this car when I can make some money on them and just I throw my old brakes on this thing. So I still have to get some pads and get the brakes totally installed. Then we can get wheels on this thing, get it back on the ground, and from there we're going to try and tackle this damage. Now we're going to try to do it ourselves. When I say we, I mean Josh and I. I think we'll just hook it up to a tree and maybe my truck and just try to straighten it out a little bit. Push comes to shove, my buddy Alex, who helped with Drift Roulette, the co-host, he actually works at a frame shop, so worst case we can do that, but I would really like to try and do it myself. I think it's really cool to be able to buy something that was totaled and fix it myself in my own garage with my own tools. I don't have any fancy tools, I don't have any fancy skill sets, so I want to show to you guys that it is possible, but we have to make sure it actually is possible first. So today was just kind of an introduction to this car for you guys as well as myself, because I couldn't even remember what was in it. So now we know where we're at. We're at square one. We know what we've got to work with. Like I said, I got to button up the brakes, get this thing back on the ground, and from there it's going to be fixing this damage. Fingers crossed it is something we can fix. Like I said, I would love to be able to do it with a ratchet strap tied up to a tree and yanking it with my truck, and hopefully that's all it takes. Maybe I'll have to get a little creative with stuff like that, but I'm going to take you guys along for the journey regardless. So let me know what you guys want to see with this thing. Like I said, once we get the damage fixed and actually get this thing to a drivable state, it's kind of a blank canvas. I mean, there's a lot we could do to this. It used to have a wide body on it, so I want to show you guys how poorly this was done and actually put a proper wide body on it, because like the quarters weren't even sealed. It was just cut and left. So that's something I want to show you guys. I'm thinking of doing a tube front on this thing and kind of doing a DIY. I've never done that. I think it would be fun to learn from. So like I said, a lot of opportunity for some fun content. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see on this thing, and we'll do our best to make it happen. Like I said, I also want this to be a tool that I can show and teach my friends how to drift. I'd love to teach my girlfriend how to drift. I know she's interested in it, so maybe that'll be a surprise down the road once we get this thing together. Anyways, at this point, I'm rambling. Now you guys have a little bit of backstory and kind of see where this car is at, and hopefully you're into it. Give this video a thumbs up if you are. Make sure you're subscribed, because like I said, there is a lot of work to come on this Z, on my Z, and a couple of other projects we've got down the road. So stay tuned for that. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next one.